This is a story about Matt Henderson and the American spirit. It started when the world was at a standstill when the Twin Towers were hit by hijacked planes. Thousands were killed, injured, or never found out of the rubble of the buildings. The country came together to help each other through the loss. Under the Bush administration, America deployed hundreds of thousands of young men to go to Afghanistan to overthrow the corrupt Taliban government that led to the death of thousands in the towers. 10 years later, men are still being conditioned and deployed to fight against the hostile forces in this unconquerable country. Matt Henderson is one of those men who risked his life to end the conflict in Afghanistan.
Matt Henderson, I'm 23 years old, from Wayland, and I graduated in '07.
Matt tells us where he went and what he did overseas in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan is the southeast region. It was pretty much on the Pakistan border.
When I interviewed Matt, he told me about his job when he went to Afghanistan, and here's what he said.
Try to reintegrate the Afghan police and the Afghan army back into their own culture. Pretty much, they're trying to push the power back to them. Infantry is just the oldest job, I guess you can say, in the military, because it goes back to the colonial periods when they would just line up in a straight line and just start firing at you. So it's basically the front lines. But nowadays, the tactics that we use in Afghanistan and Iraq, I mean, it's more like a guerrilla warfare. Like, we're still out there doing missions and patrolling, but it's not the same infantry as a lot of people think it is. Just, even in like World War II or World War I, the trench warfare, it was just face each other and just shoot. But infantry, yeah, it's just the front lines, I guess. Actually these days too, military police, we kind of coincide with them. And just a outside perimeter, like, security force. Just in case anything happens, we'd be in the village, just there, pretty much as protection. That was basically our missions. We would just be out there as our senior officers were trying to talk to their elders and get the police presence back into the villages themselves, so they weren't relying on us as much.
The United States government decided to pursue Osama bin Laden and other terrorists no matter where they went. Matt told me how he got involved in the Army and how his parents took his enrollment.
They did after I decided, but I met a friend who was in the National Guard, and I got to know him pretty well, and he kind of just talked me into it a little bit, and over a week period I was just like, yep, I'm going to do it. I decided to do it, and after that my parents and my family were supportive.
Matt told me about one alarming order from high-ranking officers to ensure the platoon's safety as they continue their tour and continue their jobs.
That the Taliban were using the kids for suicide bombs, like strapping bombs on the kids as they run up to us. They would explode, trying to take out as many of us as they can.
Matt encountered more dangerous situations. He told me about his personal incident where his life was endangered. We
were out, just a regular mission. It was, everywhere in Afghanistan is dangerous, but our interpreter, after our mission brief, was telling my guys, my truck, don't go there. There's no need to go there. And riding with him in the truck the entire time, he was just, you could tell he's been there before, but he just didn't want to go back. After driving for a couple hours, we set up our patrol or security, and as our senior officers started walking towards the village and starting to have the meetings outside. That's when everyone saw us drive up. So, I mean, they all came out and was hanging out with us, and the kids were trying to play. We were trying to focus on our security and keeping our sectors. After the whole meeting, probably maybe like an hour or two, everyone was done. Everyone was wrapping up. We're walking back to the trucks. Me and the interpreter and my platoon sergeant were one of the last people back. Our truck was the furthest away. We were truck 1. And we were kind of set up in a huge circle, just all the trucks were, with like my truck facing out. And everyone's gearing up, going back to the trucks. And we got a report over the radio that someone spotted a white van just driving back and forth up on a hill, maybe 1,000 yards away or so. You can barely see it. I mean, it was there. And then we were already going, so we speeded up the process a little bit. Because guys had the binoculars and they're saying, oh, I think they're spotting us. They're trying to judge our distance and our range. And as we were going back, that's when they opened fire from a hilltop. We couldn't see him. I mean, you'd have to have just like really good scopes or the binoculars, which all the gunners had on their turrets. When they started shooting mortars down at us, like 81 millimeter mortars, and I mean, they have a huge explosion. When they hit, it's like a grenade going off, like a couple grenades going off. I mean, it impacts and explodes everywhere. They launched like 3, 4 of them at us. One hit right where the meeting took place, right out. That was pretty heavy. But the one that hit about 15, 20 feet away from me, as I was walking back to my truck. All I remember really, I mean, I turned to wave at everybody driving, and you don't even hear it come down. It's just so fast, and it just all I saw was just dust and the explosion itself. And I heard the shrapnel like whiz right over my head. And if I hadn't taken like one step forward, I probably wouldn't be here, or my face would probably just be half gone. We later looked in the truck. The guy, my buddy who I was waving to, and you could see pieces of metal like stuck deep into these trucks that, you know, are meant to withstand a lot of that. Yeah, but after that, I'd never ran so fast in my life. Just sprinted back to the truck, just trying to get out of there.
I asked Matt if he had lost anyone in his platoon.
No, we never lost anyone. We lost them to medical issues. After a couple incidents we had over there, they got injured really bad. They got sent away to Europe, like Germany or something, for like real medical treatment. So, I mean, we lost them a little bit through the whole deployment, but we came back with everybody alive.
Matt told me about the progress that American dollars were being spent on in the war effort.
We were in it alone, and we were trying to rebuild some of the roads, the agriculture, while we were there. And I don't know how many millions we put in there, but while we were there, we'd see some work getting done. And then as soon as we would go out on missions, new craters, because they would put explosive IEDs under the road. So the brand new road that just got paved over would be like in pieces again, like split in half.
Despite all the money and resources given to help the war effort, there was never an easy way out.
We were told that we were doing a good job. We were doing a good job, but the other aspect, just, I mean, the stuff we were trying to rebuild, the houses, the wells, like basic plumbing, I mean, they would just take it apart or just destroy it.
When I spoke with Matt, he told me about coming home and some of his fear.
At first, yeah, you're on edge. You know, I used to just drive in, you know, in a car with other people. Over there, you have to look at everything. The side of the road, a piece of trash, everything they use over there can be an explosive. And coming back here, every pothole I hit, I kind of cringed, like, waiting for it, you know. Just expecting something to happen, or just the quiet noise at night, like silence, was one of the weirdest feelings. Over there, when you're sleeping in your bed, you hear, God knows what, you hear the helicopters going all night, and I mean the base we lived at was only maybe like half a square mile or so. It wasn't big at all, and you'd hear everything. So coming back, just being in a room, just with silence, you know, it kind of messes with you a little bit. Like something should be going on, but why is it too quiet? You know, you're really not used to it. Lines at like a coffee shop or a restaurant was kind of aggravating, just because I was so used to lines over in Afghanistan. Everyone eating lunch and dinner at the same time. You just don't want that when you come back.
They left October 2010 and safely returned in July of 2011.
So most people, it's like 6 years in, and like 2 on reserves. So I still got some time left. But it's just back to regular National Guard drill.
Low-key.
Once a month.
He represents the American spirit and how a small-town guy can become part of one of the strongest armies in the world, the United States Armed Forces.